Property fraud has become a common phenomenon in Lagos, Nigeria, and different parts of the country. And of course, on a daily basis, people are still falling victim to this kind of property fraud. Hello, smart investors. Welcome to Real Estate Made Easy, your number one YouTube channel, where we educate you, inform you, and enlighten you about property investment, giving you pro tips, guides, advice, and warnings, so that you can avoid the costly mistakes other people are making. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly do so right away and turn on the notification bell so that you do not miss our subsequent video. If you have missed any of our previous videos, kindly do well by checking through our playlist and then one thing or the other to improve your real estate investment knowledge. Today we'll be discussing an important topic as usual, that is 7 most important property fraud in Lagos you must avoid. Forgery and fake documents. This is actually the most common and it's very rampant here in Lagos. A lot of people actually forge the documents issued to clients, they forge the signature, and of course, common document people forge include the survey plan, even the CFO, and so on and so forth. So you must be very careful when you are making your transaction. Ensure that the property you want to buy document is genuine and it is verifiable. That's why you need the help of a trustworthy property advisor, as well as a renowned and trustworthy property lawyer who can help you to actually check that this property is free from forgery and that the signature is actually not forged. I told you the story of an aged woman who was about to lose her property due to this kind of scenario. God only saved her because the property lawyer that wanted to buy the property on behalf of the clients went ahead and did necessary due diligence and discovered that the children actually forged the woman's signature. The woman was not in her right senses to actually sell the property. This is one of the common mistakes people actually make. So make sure you don't fall victim to that. Documentation in view or in process. You see, this title in view or in process has been used to scam so many people. Some real estate companies will tell you that they are perfecting their title, the title document is in view, the CFO is in view, the government consent is in view, extension is in view, extension is in process, and so on and so forth. Truly, some of these companies actually have this property document in view. That is, they're actually processing the title document. They've started the process. And in reality, some of them are actually not processing anything. But because they know that people love to buy property that have genuine property document like CFO, government consent, a gazette, and so on and so forth. So some people just use that in view to lure people into buying the same property. Whereas in reality, there's nothing in view. They're not processing anything. So you must be very careful of that falling into property in view. If anybody is telling the property in view, check a proof for that processing. Again, some property developer also genuinely may have started the process of perfecting the title document. Then, if they are able to sell out the property, they forget the processing and they just abandon it. And unsuspecting subscribers will just also believe that the CFO on that property has been processed and so on and so forth. So only later on in future, when they want to sell the property or when government want to take ownership of that property, if that property is under government acquisition. Number 3, selling government land. Isn't it funny? But in reality, it is actually true. Some people have the effrontery, they were with that to actually sell government land. And because the people who want to buy the property are not even aware, they also subscribe to such kind of property. Later on in future, when the government is ready to take ownership of their land, they chase them away without any compensation whatsoever. This is a common thing. So make sure that you do not buy a property that is under a government acquisition. Because some people, they have that confidence to sell that kind of property to you, and because you also do not even know, you buy the property, you think it is cheap, or that because the property is in another location you like, and so on and so forth, without necessarily doing your background check. If you are buying a government land and you do not buy it directly from the government, or you do not perfect your title document to ensure that you have the right to buy the property, you are only temporarily occupying that property. The government is ready to kick you out. And once you are kicked out, you may not even get any compensation whatsoever. How can you even be compensated when you are building on a government committed land? So you must be very careful of that. Some villages, some communities sell beyond what they are allowed to sell. That is, some community by default have what they call accession to the property in their community. As a result of that, they have the freedom to sell the property. Some of them go beyond selling what has been allocated to them, and so they move on into selling what is not theirs. That is a government committed acquisition. If the government committed acquisition is the one that has been given to you and that's the one you bought, then when the government is ready to kick you out, you kick it out without any compensation. So do not be a victim to buying a government land If you are buying from a community or you are buying from a real estate company, be sure that that property is free from government acquisition and that it's not under government encumbrances or any encumbrances whatsoever. If you buy a government land, you are only a temporary landlord. You are a temporary landlord, yes, but let me put it that way. Till the real landlord is ready to kick you out, or you're a temporary tenant that the real landlord is ready to take ownership of the property, and by that time the community will not give you any money for refund, or even the property seller, whether real estate company or what have you, sold the property to you, they may not even be in business by that time again if you are not buying from the reputable real estate company. Number 4, selling a property in dispute. You see, when dispute arises between one community and the other, or between one family and the other one of the parties may want to play a fast one on the other one by selling portion of that property, and you who is not aware of the fact that there's a dispute on the property and you are buying that property, when that dispute is taken to court and then the court favor the other party and not the person you bought the property from, you may not be lucky that you get a refund, and that property you could lose the property and lose the money. So you must be very careful of buying a property under dispute. Some of the easiest way people use to tempt people to buy this kind of property, they will tell you that they are having a distress sale, that the property is this, and because they need money fast, that's why they want to sell it to you. Probably, maybe ideally the property, let's say 50 million naira. Somebody tell you just pay 5 million naira, and just pay 5 because he just want to change his car, or he want to buy a car for his wife. That's why he just want to sell it like that. He's not because he's in need of money, he won't have sold it. That may not be true. That property might be a property under dispute. He just want to play a very fast one, getting as much as he can in terms of money from that property before any dispute is resolved or not. So if you do not know and you pay to an individual, or you pay to a company that is not reputable, you may lose your money big time. Pro tip to that is that when you want to buy a property, ensure that you carry out intelligence gathering. Make sure if you are buying from an individual, like maybe from a community for instance, make sure at least on your own you go meet members of the community, interact with them, ask a few questions from them to know who the owner of the property is, why did they want to sell the property, why they don't know whether you want to buy the property or not. You are just asking common questions, trying to get facts from the community, because definitely people will tell you, that property, it's so and so family that I'm fighting over it too. In fact, they just killed somebody there the other time. You will get to know. These are intelligent gathering. Or you also employ the service of a trustworthy property advisor or property lawyer that can help you also do some of this intelligent gathering and verify the originality and authenticity of the property ownership, so that you don't fall a victim to property fraud. Number 5, hidden charges or fees. You see, this is actually common if you are buying from a community or what is known as omonile. After they have paid for the property itself, there are some fees that you will not even be told. So another family will just come up, they are not aware that this person sold it, it's okay, and now it has been sold. You agree you are the owner, but you have to settle the boys, you have to settle this and that, you have to settle them. When you want to make a foundation, they will come back to you. You have to pay for foundation fee, you pay that. You want to do roofing, you pay that. You want to do decking, you pay that, and so on and so forth. These are some of the hidden charges if you are buying from a community or money that you have to pay. Some real estate companies also have what is people call hidden charges. But if you are buying from a reputable real estate company, it's not supposed to be hidden. It's meant to be known. Because right before you even make your subscription, they have what is known as subscription form and FAQ, where every payment you are supposed to make are supposed to be well written. This is the amount for the land you are buying. If you are buying for survey plan, the survey plan you're going to tell you your boundary of your property, the date of assignment to transfer ownership to you. They're supposed to tell you how much is the cost implication, the developmental fee to, of course, to put infrastructure into the estate. They're supposed to tell you. It is not meant to be an hidden charge if you are buying from a reputable company. But if the company is not disclosing all these things to you, you just pay for the land. Later in the future, they start charging you this. Then you have to be very careful, because what they may be charging you may be beyond your expectation or beyond your budget. So do not just fall for hidden charges. What tips on hidden charges is that before you make the property purchase, ensure you go through the FAQ as well as the contract of sale. Ensure you understand those terms and conditions before you append your signature. And if you are buying from community as well, ensure that all the family members, the people that have the right to that property, they are all assembled in the presence of your lawyer, and so that every necessary fee they want to collect, you have it written, documented, signed and sealed, and then everybody agree to that, so that later on future, if anybody is coming forth, you know where to go and you know who to hold responsible. That is as simple as that. Number 6, no documents signed or given. you realize you just made a payment, just pay. You have made the payment, no receipt is issued to you, no document is given to you to sign or signed by them, then you should know that perhaps you are already making a payment for pepper soup and suya. So you have to be very careful of that. When you are making a payment for any property, ensure you have your receipt, ensure you have your contract of sales, ensure you have your deed of agreement. Otherwise, there is nothing binding you and the person who sold the property to you, and if anything happens, you are on your own. So make sure you get the necessary receipt and the document that backs your property when you are buying them, so as to avoid a die-no story. Number 7, interest fee or default fee. You see, after making a property purchase, some company will tell you that for every delay in payment from a agreed period, you have to pay certain amount of money as default fee. Some, if you are subscribing for installment payment, you have to pay extra charges on that. So you must be aware of this, so that you put that into your calculation and you know what you are supposed to pay. These extra charges are some of the things that people actually end up forgetting the property and then losing out big time. They just that, oh, they can't pay this again, they can't pay this that again, and of course they just forget about the property after they've already committed certain amount of money into the same transaction. So make sure you understand the penalty for the default in payment, as well as if you are going for installment payment, what are the extra charges that you will be charged and how do you go about that. So the pro tips to this is that before you sign the document, before you subscribe to that property, understand all the necessary payments you are supposed to make. Understand when you are supposed to make it. Understand if there is delay, what is be given time to meet up, or if you refuse to meet up within the time given to you, what will be the penalty for that. So you need to understand all of this so that you do not fall victim to those who are not even ready to give you the property in the first instance. The company may charge you up to 35% fee for default in payments, or if you want to seek refund and what have you. So all of these charges, you must understand them so that you can make an informed decision before you make your property purchase, and also not to be a victim to those who actually even want to defraud you the first instance, because some of these companies do not even have the property to give you the first instance, so that they are only looking for you also not to be able to meet up with certain payment obligation, so that they will give that as an excuse as why they are not giving the property you have subscribed to, or why you do not have allocation. So that's why on your own part, before you make your purchase, be sure that you are ready for the transaction and pay up everything you need to pay at when you are supposed to pay it, so as to know whether the property you are paying, you can get allocation for it, or you are just paying money for paying sake and you will not get access to your property and you not get access to your money back. With this, I hope you have been able to learn one thing or the other, and the costly mistake you must avoid is 7 property fraud you must be aware of, so that you will not be among the victims of a dino, among those who are telling the story of how they lost their property, how they lost their investment. And of course, if you have learned one thing or the other from this episode, why don't you do it by subscribing to this channel, turn on the notification bell, and of course make sure that you share this video with your loved one, and remain your award-winning property advisor, property consultant Bello Kamaldeen. Till I come your way again next time, make sure you remain blessed. Thank you so much for watching.